So welcome to the Northumberland Coastal Path, a 62-mile route starting here in Cresswell, little quiet village on the coast, up to Berwick on Tweed via Amble, Wartworth, Seahouses and Holy Island. So the captain and I are going to set sail and enjoy the sights, the sounds, the wildlife, the coastline, the beauty of this amazing place. Thanks for joining us. Now, the coastal path itself alternately follows routes through the dunes, along the beach where I am now, and on a country lane just behind the dunes. But while we can, while the sea's out, I think it'd be nice just for the captain and I to have a nice stroll along the sands and just take in the sights, the sounds, the feel, the smell of this fantastic place. Brilliant. We haven't got the most fantastic weather, but I really don't care. It's wonderful. You'll find these littered on the beach, World War II anti-tank placements, these concrete cubes all the way pretty much across George Bay. There's so much history here, the coal mining, the castles, and indeed something far more recent. Let's go! A bit of rain now. Obviously we could have done the footpath that runs through the dunes there. That's for later, which we will be doing when it gets too deep. But in the meantime, open skies and rolling seas. It's worth coming on the beach. You right, Captain? Awesome. Fantastic. So there we are. A half empty, if a little windswept George Bay, but we're going to continue up the coast and in about a kilometre cut inland and see some more of the history of this amazing place. It's supposed to be summer. You can judge for yourself. So a slight detour from the wind and the rain on the beach. I think we've had enough of that. Yeah. And we're in the lee of the dunes, and give us a chance to dry out. Rain seems to have left us alone, and the next stop's going to be the site of the old Chevington Drift open cast mine, where there's a memorial boulder. In the meantime, we're just going to chuff along a little country lane. There we go. The driftstone, preserved from East Chevington open cast coal site, now stands on the site of the East Chevington Drift mine. There we go, which is now a beautiful nature reserve, which we're going to see very soon. In the meantime, we're going to take 5 and just soak in some of the atmos. So that was the Driftstone commemorative plaque and everything to the local community that once was. So our journey now is going to take us back towards the coast, through George Bay Country Park, which we'll see in a moment. And just while we got a gap in the rain, just going to take in the tranquil, peaceful, beautiful countryside. And this is what the old open cast mine, closed in the late 80s and some of them in the early 90s, became George Bay Country Park. Beautiful. Time for a cup of tea, a bit of a comfort break before we set sail further up the coast, and our next stop after Hoxley Nature Reserve will be Amble. 4 miles. So, stopped raining, had a cup of tea at the country park, and we'll see what scenery we find next. I think the cliffs, just as we turn the bay towards Hoxley. So in some places the path isn't as straightforward as you think. That last little twiddly path took us down to the beach where, with the tide being out and the slime on the rocks, it's going to make traction a little bit difficult. So we've just come up the coast a little bit more on the country lane, and it's brought us to this. So we're gonna, oh, Coquet Island, look there. So we're gonna let Captain snap a couple of shots and mooch along the path just on top of the dunes, enjoy the sights while we've got a bit of height, and we can just start to see Amble just about a mile away now. Absolutely fantastic. How are you doing there, Captain? All right. Lovely. Finally, wind's died down, the rain's gone away for now. So near the end of our first awesome day. I wouldn't say marred by the weather, would you, Captain?
No, it just made it a bit different.
Made it a bit different, made it a bit challenging. Well, clothes have dried out. Views are still lovely. With the rain lifting, we can start to see a bit more along the coast. Bamburgh Castle along there, I think. And fantastic. So there we are, first day done. Time to dump our bags and get a cold drink. Thanks for joining us. Check out the video tomorrow.
Got a giant screen.
Well, good morning from a sunny Amble. Nice change in the weather as the captain and I set sail for Craster, 12 or 13 miles, something like that, via Warkworth, Dunstanburgh, and some of the other lovely places we're going to see along the way. The weather's picked up, we're going to see what we find. Thank you for joining us. So, the only slight fly in the ointment this morning is the fact that the path, just for a little bit, maybe a mile, half a mile, will run alongside the main road. So we're not going to film that, all it's going to be is noise and traffic. We'll see you in Warkworth. So, Warkworth. Beautiful castle, English heritage. Captain and I are just going to skirt its outer edges. We're still on the main road. And it's one of the lovely things we can see on this route, on this trip. Castles, coastlines, creatures, beautiful things. What are you thinking, Captain?
It's good to be here.
It is, and you've actually got your shorts on. He said
Yes.
he'd pack them, he said he'd wear them. They're on, and the sun is out. Well, there we are, the bustling metropolis that is Warkworth. We're going to take 5, have a slurp of tea, maybe a Jaffa cake and maybe some fluids. Going to be a warm one today. So the busy town centre of Warkworth, just taking 5 for some fluids before we cross the medieval bridge, and then we turn a corner onto the coastal path. No matter what time of year you come here to Warkworth, you're going to get a lot of traffic, because it's the main road to the Northumberland Coast Path and up to Holy Island. Always good to take 5 in it, Captain.
Especially in the sun.
Also good to bank in the centre of Warkworth, public toilets. Pro tip there for you. Through the medieval gatehouse. Warkworth Bridge. Almost 600 years it's been doing its job. Gotta be honest, the path is really quite well marked across the road, and somewhere a bit more peace and quiet. It's hard to go wrong really with an OS map and a guy booking a bit of homework. You're never going to get really lost here, and if you do, you're not in a rush. You turn around and go back. 5 miles to Alnmouth. I'm in sight of the coast again. Fantastic. The sight and the sound and the smell of the sea. Fantastic. One thing I would say it's worth bearing in mind as you're doing this route, particularly if you have the weather, just take time to stop and smell the roses, if you will. You know the path's going to go on over the hill just behind us, but in the meantime we're just going to take 5, aren't we, Captain? Soak it up, listen to the roar of the waves, and just notice that apart from a couple that's just popped down, the beach is completely empty, even in the height of the summer. So, more of the same. Awesome. Overgrown sections. Just ahead of us, Alnmouth. So it looks like natural assumption, seeing just some roofs and steeple just over the long grass, is to continue along the path in the direction of Alnmouth. However, you'll just end up at a cloggy low tide mud bank. So the route deviates. Well, the route itself doesn't, this is what it does. But the route itself is a dog leg up here, footpath along a road, and then cut back along a little teeny tiny backcountry lane. Important to notice just as you get close to Alnmouth, and I think that's why we keep seeing it saying 2.5, 2 1/4, 2 3/4. It isn't in a straight line, but the dog leg we have to do, yes it is. So hats off to the captain spotting that on his OS map. Like we said, along the main road, then we'll take a right and we're going to cross a little bridge to go into Alnmouth. Lovely. Well, the beach looks busy and I think it's a little low tide. Fantastic. Not a bad venue for lunch break. Within spitting distance of Alnmouth, and ice cream. So we'll leave the bustling city streets of Alnmouth behind. The captain's managed to post some of his heavier equipment. We've had an ice cream, we've had some cold water, and I think as we go north up, we've found there's little areas where it's just more bustling than others, and Alnmouth is certainly a very busy tourist centre. But as we go on, quieter and quieter, on towards Craster. More beautiful scenery. And after that lovely jaunt along the beach, we'll go this way and rejoin the main path. Well, another change of scenery. We've gone from rock pools to Alnmouth Coastal Path to the sandy shore. Now we're on Alnmouth Golf Club, and there's a gentleman with his hands on his hips trying to tee off. See, he's clearly annoyed, but there's a sign here says this is the way the coastal path goes. So we're gonna
he'll get over himself.
So he'll get over himself and hit his stupid little ball later on. That's what I've liked about this footpath so far. We just start wandering somewhere. It's across a golf course. I just trod over a rock pool earlier, an old wooden seawall, breakwater, and now I'm in a field of long grass, maybe rye or something, just wandering along. The variety here is absolutely stunning. Variety has been marvellous. Just over the row of bracken there, sandhill sort of cliff face to the beach, and as we keep trundling north, I think we'll see RAF Bulmer in our sights in a bit. It's just been good, really good. Just fantastic as far as the eye can see. Just rolling hills at the edge of the Chivy, it's there. We've got the sea on our right, the land on our left. As long as we keep doing that, we'll get to Holy Island and Berwick. Craster. It says 5.5. Like we said, there's been quirky little places, obviously closed up until whoever stays them comes, but just these little, sometimes ramshackle, sometimes very ornate little places. Oh. That's where we've come from. Around the headland is where we're going. Ooh. Just getting glimpses of Bulmer. I think the sea's a bit deeper here, Captain. Look, we've got a couple of bigger, whatever they are, a trawler or something or other. Well, there we go. Caps are going to take 5. We've reached Bulmer, and I must say the weather's still holding up. This is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll just see a pub, what, 100 yards away. The captain wanted a cup of tea, but I think we'll go straight for, I will. We'll go straight for a cold drink and maybe something else. So a few more miles still to go to Craster yet. We'll see what happens with that. But, making lots of progress. It's been such an interesting section. I found it really interesting. The diversity, variation in the footpath. You know, shoulder deep bracken, and then we've got a sandy beach, rock pools, a cinder path, you name it, and then caravan park footpath. It's been great. Over time, the wind and the rain, and I think, yep, the right wheel. Let's get the fishing boat in. It's not. Oh, it is. It says closed. Mother of God. So just as we leave Bulmer, that was nice. A couple of ladies there with a church hall gave us a cold drink, and that's what we found as we mooched along. Everyone's got the time of day, everyone wants to help you out, and everyone wants to talk about where you or they are going or have been. It's been absolutely fantastic. Friendly, beautiful, calming, oh, picturesque, varied, and just uplifting. Fantastic. And immediately next to beach, farms and fields. Again, another change in the sort of texture, the feel, the sort of flavour of the room. It's been like that the whole way, hasn't it, Simon?
Yeah.
There's been lots of variety. Another hour later, something else. Yeah, right next to the beach, which we didn't see earlier. In the distance we can see, just start to see Dunstanburgh Castle, the ruins of. We won't be going as far as that. And at Craster we're going the Jolly Fisherman. Have a blob to eat and a bite to drink, all the other way around, and then catch the bus, I believe, to Embleton. So things are looking up. Nice.
I think that joins up anyway.
I think it. And I believe there's a old hill fort up there, but the route's going to take us through this gate. And again, just as we come out round a headland, look, Look back the way we've come, see a bit more where we're going. It's been fantastic. Like the captain was just saying, we haven't really seen an awful lot of other people doing this route, have we?
Up until just now.
Well, people go in the opposite directions, but they're obviously day trippers. We just haven't seen anyone with sizable packs going anywhere, which is fine. It's just a bit surprising. It isn't exactly the Pennine Way here though, is it?
Much nicer, I think.
Much nicer, yeah. Yes, far more variety. Oh, the beautiful sea, and just ahead of us, ooh, half a mile less, Craster, and behind it, Dunstable Castle. And as the sun starts to slowly set over the hills in the west there, and we're left with the beautiful sea here in the east, the northeast. This has been an absolutely fantastic day. The character, the look, the smell, the very feel of the coast has changed from sandy beaches to rock pools with seaweed to this limestone cliff with lichen on top of it, rock granite jutting out of the sea while the sea pounds away at it. It's been absolutely magical. The variety, the spectacle, the splendour of it has been marvellous. Right, lovely. Next stop, Craster. Here it is. So there we go, Amble to Craster, 20.5 mile. I'm going to join the captain inside for a bit of fish and chips. Thanks for joining us. Back to the studio. Good morning and welcome to quite a misty Craster. So we travelled inland last night and back on the bus this morning, and as you can see, it's not quite the stunning blue skies and rolling azure depths as it was yesterday. But we've been dropped off by bus. The captain's going to take a couple of snaps, and the next thing you'll see on this journey to Seahouses is Dunstable Castle, where I'll get the drone up. Look at this, not like yesterday, is it? Looks like it's this way, and we'll be seeing it maybe when the fog clears. And this has been also another aspect of this trail. We've done a few now, and it's very, very well signposted. You're never going to sort of rub your chin and keep rushing to your OS map. You can always find where you're going here. No. We can go around it. The path goes to the left there. Castle's closed, we can go round to the left. So there we are, it's 9:30, the castle doesn't open till 10. Well, amazing though it is, no views to be had because of the mist. fret's just starting to clear a bit. Still not the most awesome of views, but it's starting to clear up. Still moving to the sound of the sea. We can just leave Dunstanburgh behind, the last bit of this castle on the edge of these cliffs here. Just see all the old windows. Some of the lower ones obviously used for defence of the place. Can't get up too close. You can just see the mist just rolling in front of the battlements there. All that's left of this end, the north end of the castle. Yes. So as was found on this adventure, the coast as we go further north changes hourly, certainly daily. Now the rugged boulders of this and the nature reserve in the background, all these birds, it's just been fantastic. So as we go further north, it just gets more and more interesting. So different. And even what a couple of moments ago was just a few rocks at the edge of the sea, now huge volcanic cliffs, basalt edifices thrusting out of the shallows. It's absolutely fantastic. Just a little bit away from the coastline now, the path sort of dissects and comes in one of two ways. We can still hear the sea off to our right, and we're just staying on the footpath here that just skirts the edge of it. Yet another Northumberland golf course. Captain's good? You're all right, you're a captain? The weather's not the best, but we're not cold, we're not wet, and we're just chuffing along. So, next village in sight, tea and biscuits. There we go. Well done, Captain. That's the sandy beach left behind in the golf course, and we're going to roll north. We've got a little hamlet of shacks here, Captain. Look, little holiday homes just sort of perched. Be interesting. So another little community just parked on the edge of the cliff.
Where did we start?
Mothballed. Cresswell, yeah. But here we are just near north of Dunstanburgh. Look at this one. All mothballed up, waiting for the holidaymakers to come. And I've got to be honest, sitting outside, sipping a glass of vino with the bay here. That's quite appealing. Like you said though, there's nowhere to park. Have a look at wildlife and wetlands wildfowl. Some lakes over here. Yeah. Oh. Oh, yes. This brings back some memories. Martin Mere, wildfowl, place near Tarleton in Lancashire. There's a school trip. You see, this is what I'm talking about. This is Newton Pool, local nature reserve. And there's all your greater crested grebe and your other critters. So, Dunstanburgh Castle just a couple of miles ago, and now Low Newton by the sea. A tiny little hamlet just dipping its toes into Embleton Bay. And the coastal terrain has changed again, marvellous. Soft white dunes, soft sand, bit of a fishing village, and the route continues up towards Beadsall, which will be our next stop. It's fantastic. There we go, Newton Point, Captain.
Oh,
Under 4 miles.
That way, shortcut, all this way.
We do the coast path. See you, folks. Oh, absolutely. I think we'd rather do the extra half a mile and have this, Captain, would you say? So, weather changed again. Rather than a cold November sea fog, we've gone straight to flaming June kind of summery time. The sea fret's burning off and we can see more of what's occurring on the coast. Fantastic. Something different every part of the day, isn't there? So, rather than go across up and down the sand dunes and the problems that'll bring to knees, we're going to just sashay off the way a little bit onto the more firm packed sand of the beach. A breeze, we're not going to skid around in soft sand, and we're just going to make our way along Beadnell Bay. Absolutely lovely. Good on the knees. Oh, easy on the eye. And an ice cream at some point. Now you can, if you feel like it, follow the actual coastal path itself in the dunes. However, on a warm day like today, I think we've benefited more from more of the breeze off the sea than walking up and down a sandy sand dune. Might have a dip. Not long now till Beadnell seafront. Looks like a lot of these aren't occupied yet. Still, do you think a little early in the season?
Yeah, not school holiday yet.
No, and but we've got the weather, which is nice. There we go, a bit of refreshments. We're leaving Beadnell behind, and we're just within spitting distance of Seahouses. So, other than footpaths and cars going past on the main road, nothing much to see. Back in touch with the coast in just a second. We'll see you in Seahouses. So there we go, Craster's of Seahouses, 12 miles along a beautiful coast of contrasting changes. Rocky, sandy beaches, castles and little fishing villages. Thanks for joining us. We're off to the old ship to dump the pack. Thanks for joining us on Over the Hill. Good morning from Seahouses on our fourth leg of our 6-day trip. Just on the edge of town. Got the sign behind us saying that Bamburgh is 3.5k away. In fact, if you just look over my shoulder, you can see the castle just there. And just to its right, I'll indicate on the screen, you can see our destination for the next day, which will be Holy Island in Lindisfarne. So everything's going absolutely peachy. We've got the weather again, and this time sun cream. The captain's already started. Let's get going. Again, like we've done with days before, we thought rather than up and down in the dunes where the official path goes, and with it comes pain in the old knees on descent, we thought we'd just mooch along the beach. We're going to be rewarded as we turn this headland with a brilliant view of Bamburgh Castle. In the meantime, we're just going to soak up the sun and the breeze and the sound of the waves. Fantastic. So like any popular tourist attraction, particularly Bamburgh Castle, it's going to be swarming with people. However, it doesn't diminish from the fact that we've enjoyed every minute. You're going to expect these things. You can't have it all to yourself. So there we are, as we say bye-bye Bamburgh. Our route's going to continue just for a kilometre or so along this road. It's not too busy, considering it's the starting to be the height of the summer holidays. We've still got the coast to our right, and in a little bit we're going to swing inland and on a country path as we start to head towards Belford. But it's still absolutely fantastic. Not just the weather, not just the views, the people have been grand, and just the experience of being under the open sky and carrying everything you need on your back. Fantastic, not a care in the world. Another day, another golf course, another bay, another beautiful view of the sea, and more steps along this fantastic route. So, team biscuits in a minute, a bit more pain relief, and then on with a bit more of the old sun cream. Absolutely fantastic. There we go. And the theme that's been part of this journey, we get off the beaten track, not sure we're going to end up in another beautiful, stunning, jaw-dropping spot of coast. The white sands, the lovely blue colour of the sea, and the green fields and the forest beyond, absolutely wonderful. And we've still not seen many in the way of people who are doing this route from one end to the other. Oh, day trippers, yeah, sure. But no one wandering along with stupid big packs like on this, like we are. The colour of that water. Beautiful Bay, absolutely lovely. Perfection. Oh, yes. Yeah. Well, after that lovely repast, it's time to hit the trail. We've had our rations, no room for us, and now we've weighed anchor and it's Belford next stop, would you say, Captain? Yeah, I'm not going in there. Simon, I'm stuck.
You caught your fucking pole. No, go back, reverse. That's it.
Can you help?
Go now.
Repeat of the West Highland Way incident. There we go, leaving the sea behind us now a little bit, next to the estuary. The Captain and I are going to plod inland and eventually to Belford. There we are, so we're on the doorstep of Lindisfarne Nature Reserve, and we've seen the castle in the distance. This really is kind of Captain's stomping ground, taking lots of pictures of wading birds and you name it. And I think we're a stone's throw from our next village, Warren Hill, and on to Belford. So, we'll take 5 there with a cold drink. So, a little inland now. We're just skirting Warren Mill, maybe 3 k's from Belford. So as you can see, we've completely left the coast behind, and the sign down there was notifying us that only at certain months of the year we're able to come this way because of nesting birds on the route. We're in the nature reserve, Lindisfarne Nature Reserve after all. But this is a nice change, bit of shade and easy going underfoot. Well, Budle Bay in the distance as the Captain and I take our little detour, winding country lanes, and I think I can just see the outskirts of Belford just over that rise there, Captain. So some interesting scenery. I think this is someone's, oh no, it's not someone's home. It's because there's flyers you can take. The Alchester Ducket, a tapering tower standing 4 stories, became a Grade 2 listed building. It's shown us some maps as a windmill, but it is not. Oh, stop, you've ruined it now. Fuck off. There we go. More signs pointing the way. And another. Oh. Another change of texture, absolutely wonderful. Well, beautiful. That's probably a glimpse of Belford. And the end of today's mission. Thoughts?
Yeah, another good day. Plenty of variety.
Yeah, we're on a coast and we're not on a coast. Cliffs, dunes, castles, wetlands, and now the only hill for a little way around. Lovely. Take care. So there we go, Seahouses to Belford. 15 k's or 10 mile, that's absolutely lovely. I think we've done that in about 6 hours. So fantastic scenery, but that's enough for today, day 4. Tomorrow it's Holy Island, the big one. We're going to check in, put our feet up and get a cold one. Thanks for joining us. Morning, welcome to day 5 of our coastal challenge, the Northumberland Coastal Path. The captain and I are leaving Belford today on our way to Holy Island. The route's going to start down here, just past the War Memorial. You can see the sign indicating where we're going. We'll go through the forests just northwest of Belford to Fenwick, and then we're going to start the causeway. Another awesome day. Let's see what we find. So an easy trundle out the village. Obviously we have to come inland at this point, not much of a coastal walk, because we've always got his fields. That's because of the size and the nature of the estuary, just south of Lindisfarne, which is actually a nature reserve, and there's no way to cross the sands to the island. So this is the best option, and I think as options go, yeah, it's pretty good. Quiet country lane. Oh, fallen up the first hurdle there. Oh, oh no! Oh, matron! Oh, is that your length coming out again? Oh, I've got to stand up as well. Oh. I don't think they've quite accounted for packs. Ooh. Ooh. And they've got a thistle in my parts. I hate to call it such, but I'm thinking that today's going to be the pinnacle of the journey. Not just crossing the finishing line, yes, but the route itself doesn't officially go to Holy Island. But we're just adding it to our itinerary because I think it'd be crazy to miss an opportunity to do something like that. But in the meantime, just a stroll in the countryside. Lovely. Right, following the signs, and for a country path that's coastal, well, a country and coastal path that's not seen much of the coast, we can see it again now. But when we have been inland away from the side of the coast, we don't treat it as some kind of missing out. It's a bonus, if you will, to have this kind of beautiful scenery around us. And now we've got a bit of height coming out of Belford, a couple of miles. You can just see the estuary, just see a bit of the island, and our route's just going to continue in this style. So up and down, maximum height gain today if you're going to come along this way and do it as part of St Cuthbert's Trail, of about 120 metres. In the meantime, a slow, gentle, measured plod through the rural fields of Northumberland. Absolutely lovely. Pine.
Virgin Hill. Virgin Hill Wood.
Okay, so we've reached just about the maximum elevation on this section of the journey. Then it's all downhill to the shore from here. So Virgin Hill and Virgin Hill Woods. Just starting to try and rain. You feel it blowing in from the field. It's a welcome breeze, and it's a complete change of texture. Pines, a hill, and obviously nothing like a coastal walk. Added bonus,
Yeah, it's all good.
it's all good. So with some scenery reminiscent of Ennerdale, where the captain and I frequent, we're now in Shallow Wood, 3k?
To Fenwick.
3k to Fenwick. And going to go through all wood, and we're just going to keep picking them up and putting them down and just enjoying this quiet, well, quite secluded little path. It's all part of St Cuthbert's Way. Pretty good, Captain, you'd say?
Awesome.
Yeah. Quiet, calm, and yeah, easy on the old knees. Ah. There we go, can't go far wrong. Not a lot of sound of wildlife in the old artificial pine forest, and I think this is why, looking at some of the signs we've seen, as they're being forested and harvested, they're all being replaced with deciduous and a mix, because as you can see, not a lot going on the forest floor. No insects, no birds, other than the hoot of something in the distance in the deciduous part. And the pines just eventually thinning out, and we're just on the edge of our rolling countryside, getting just a glimpse in the distance of Budle Bay. I'm going to just come over this rise in a moment. Pine trees just leaving us behind, and we're probably going to be able to start to see Fenwick. A wonderful place, we've got it all to ourselves. Just in every direction, beauty, solitude and tranquility. It's been very healing. Wind in the trees now. In case you're wondering or making your own plans, the captain and I have used various different methods of navigation. The captain today is using Komoot, so it's got voice turn by turn, which is handy when we don't really know the area. I've got OS map. I've also used my Garmin Explore app to program the route in to my Garmin, so I get turn by turn notifications in my watch. Simon gets a voice prompt on Komoot. But even though we're not up in the mountains, I think it's important to know where you're going. If something goes wrong here, we just turn around and go back. But there's plenty of signs, another one ahead. But if you just keep your eyes peeled, you can't go far wrong. So just trundling through Fenwick, we've had a bit of a stop for sausage rolls and pie and a hot drink, and the route's just gonna bear left out of the village and across towards the estuary. Here we go, take your life in your hands. Right, here we go. Second and last time we're going to cross the A1. And Holy Island 7 there, that's for you motorists out there. Our final destination tomorrow, Berwick. In the meantime, we'll say bye-bye to all that with a stroll down St Cuthbert's Way. And then feet up, wait for the tide to go out. So it's just handy, if you are going to do this route, just bear in mind, before you stampede down to the estuary, it's going to be worth just stopping in Fenwick a minute. There's a toilet. You can have a cup of tea, you can have a cold drink, and like the captain, you can inhale a pork pie. And just pause a minute, you can see Bamburgh just to the right. And there you go, Lindisfarne just to the left there. And if we just look back under the brooding clouds there, there's the old wood and the edge of the forest that we came down into Fenwick from. So it was clouding over a little. I felt spots of rains earlier. So the captain just snaps the last couple before we come park up at the estuary. We just remind ourselves how lucky we've been with the weather so far today. And the tide's still in. That'll change. They give you permission. We're at Fenham Hill. Shall I call them?
Go on then. You're very official.
Alright.
Shall I record you?
Oh, it's already running. Hi mate, we're at 2 Hikers Fenham Hill. We got permission to cross. Yes mate, thanks for the heads up. No, don't cross yet. He said there's another train coming. Then ring me back. Yeah. You can see why I said to wait. He says, how long are you going to be? A minute? I went, no. He went, get yourself across. Ooh. Well, there we go. There we go, the edge of the estuary. Waiting for the water to go. Meanwhile, the captain's going to treat us to an ice cream from the ice cream van at the edge of the universe. Yeah, cash only. Can I have a flake in mine, thanks?
What do you want? 69.
I beg your pardon. Maybe later. Anything, thanks, Captain. So there we are, Lindisfarne Estuary. Just got to wait till the tide goes out so we can cross on Pilgrim's Way. About an hour and a half, so it's ice cream, cup of tea, maybe a sandwich, and you'll see us cross. Thanks for joining us. So a slight change of plan. As the traffic overtakes us on the causeway, we've discovered that the Pilgrim's Way footpath won't be cleared this side of like 5 PM. And I'm not walking across knee deep in water. So the backup plan is walk across the causeway now while it's clear enough, and then tomorrow morning the tide will be out till gone noon, so it'll all be mud flats and much drier. So we'll come to Pilgrim's Way tomorrow after breakfast. In the meantime, here's the causeway. Like we supposed earlier, when the first glut of cars goes, it is a bit elbow to elbow with a few vehicles. The majority tends to be going to the island, the minority tends to be coming back from. However, there's only so much room for walkers, and like I'm saying, the Pilgrim's Way, if you're not on that and it's still way too early to be able to get to it, you're gonna have to jostle with traffic on the old causeway here. And as a captain, I've just found out that wasn't too pleasant, was it? People are being in a big mad hurry. Look, we can walk on this now. Fantastic. Because the water, the tide leaves this part of the estuary far earlier and doesn't always actually even get up here. You're ruining my video.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, you can't see much because it's into the sun. So, going to the captain's sea charts there. Maybe another kilometre to go. So, feet up, cold drink, and we can tick off another day. The next thing you're going to see is part of Lindisfarne on Holy Island, where we're going to put our feet up. Watch this space. This is awesome. Do they drive on the left here, do you know? Really joking. We're the out of towner yokels, aren't we?
I imagine 95% of people here are tourists.
Well, yeah. I like to think we don't quite call ourselves tourists. I prefer to think of ourselves as adventurers, if you will. And there's the way down to the end of the high street, down to the monastery. Let's see what we find. So, day 5. Good day, Captain?
Awesome.
Awesome, another brilliant one. So, on that fantastic adventure styled bombshell, we're going to check ourselves in the manor house. And would you look at that? Food served all day. So thanks for joining us so far. Good morning and welcome to the Hue, a little local viewpoint overlooking the estuary here on Lindisfarne. You can see the castle here, just at the edge of the bay, the captain snapping away last of our souvenirs, and the priory next to the hotel, the manor house where we stayed last night. So our sixth and final day, as we're just going to start to skirt the island, get onto the Pilgrim's Way, weather and tide allowing, and then set sail for Berwick. In the meantime, enjoy the scenery as we will. So while the captain finishes banging away, Pilgrim's Way, I think it's as dry as it's going to get. Certainly a lot of dry sand in the middle where there might be a chance to get the old drone up there. So we'll see what we find. This could be very, very amusing, very beautiful.
2.4 miles on here.
Or a very, very disastrous. 2.4 you say? Let's find out. Well, this is about as shallow as we're going to get it on the Pilgrim's Way, and it's still on the moist side. So make sure you're either going to go barefoot, like the captain and I. Keep your boots on, give them a rinse when you get to the other side. In the meantime, it's so far, yeah, it's a plod, but it's a lot nicer than following the road. Even the captain agrees. And we just have to not slavishly follow the wooden poles, run up against them, but just pick our little ways amongst the tributaries and the little wiggly rivers that are, well, too deep to cross. Well, slight change in texture. We swapped wet for mud. I think we're going to go back to wet again in a minute. So if you're coming this way, take care. Check your tide times. It's looking awesome, isn't it? The light is still kind of a bit diffuse, yeah, for making a decent photo for you. So there we go, mission accomplished. See over my shoulder, Lindisfarne, Holy Island in the distance. The captain's just going to drop anchor here in a minute. We're going to get some sun cream on and take 5, but there we are. That was the Pilgrim's Way. Not as difficult as we thought. I think if you follow these 3 simple rules: cross at low tide, follow the posts, and mind how you go. And on that bombshell, it's time for a cuppa. And what's even better after that rather interesting experience, we've got pretty much the whole causeway to ourselves. So there's our emergency cabin, the part of the estuary you can't walk over, and I'm just grateful and relieved that we managed to cross the estuary without either sinking up to our necks in mud or getting themselves into an even bigger pickle. So our way now will continue up the coast, and Berwick upon Tweed awaits us, I'd say in about 12 mile, maybe a little less. Oh, mind your back. Yeah. Pilgrim's Way, method of crossing the sands for 1500 years, and we managed it too. Part of the England Coast Path, it says on that little sign. I'm just going to mooch northwards. The path's going to stay completely flat as far as I can tell until we get to the outskirts of Berwick. In the meantime, going to keep an eye out for a little bit of wildlife. The captain's got a moment to stop and snap away with his camera if he so chooses. And this being the final leg, we're just going to bring it down a notch. Not that we rushed, but all good things must come to an end. Oh. And the path, we're never ever really lost. There's always a little bit of something to attract the eye and keep you on course. And we'll see what this is just ahead of us.
Just hope they're amenable to guests.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we? See if we can get a cold drink and sit down. So we're being a little creative like we've been with the route so far. The actual route runs there along the top of those dunes next to this Howick Golf Club. Now, being that we're 6 days in, it's the hottest day of the year, like I said, and the old knees and ankles and shoulders and joints in general are starting to struggle. We thought we'd make use of this, go to the clubhouse, then we can cut over on a footpath onto the beach. So we're not missing out on anything, not cheating, we're just being creative, because we've got to be able to finish this. That's what we set out to do when we started. Oh yeah. Well, a bit of a surprise. We thought we were going to be on a roller coaster footpath through the dunes next to the golf course, and as it turns out, the footpath just follows the railway line for a bit, which is nice. We've got a breeze, we can see where we're going. I've got to be honest, at this stage, in this heat, I'm glad we're not up and down sand dunes. Like I say, some of the paths more accessible than others, which is the understatement of this year. Well, sadly for quite a bit of this part of the walk, till we come out at the other side at Chiswick Nature Reserve and we get a country lane. This is the size of it, a sort of tiny obscure little bit of trampled grass alongside fallow fields of railway line. It's fine, we're going in the right direction. Sea on our right, land on our left. Just on a hot day, it's really quite tricky going. The captain's gone for shorts. Might be regretting that decision at the moment, but we're all smiles. Lindisfarne just lost behind the last of the dunes there. And talking of lost, is something we haven't got. It's another sign just here at the gate with the captain. Another relic of World War II. Let's see what it says about the route. And the sign back there says Berwick 4.5, so probably about 4 now. And we can see the sea again. Awesome. And I think that little ship just out there is just heading inwards towards the Tweed. I think I can just see the mouth of the Tweed there, and a little lighthouse as well. So not far to go. So if we don't expire of dehydration or burst into flames, we're going to keep chuffing along. Ooh, always bring lots of water. 3 litre bladders in here. Just a tip there for you. You'll need it on a hot day. Keeps us all going. Takes a lot to finish him off. You might have heard. So the last bit of bay on this section, Cock-Lawburn Bay. You can just in the distance see Lindisfarne, the island, and the castle, the monastery. There we are. Apart from following the railway a little bit now, that's really your lot for seeing an awful lot of jaw-dropping landscape until we get to the mouth of the Tweed, and we'll get glimpses of Berwick and its awesome bridges. But for now, Captain and I are going to say ta-ra, fond farewell to the more picturesque beaches of the northeast. Thank you for joining us so far. Probably one of the last signs we'll see now. And we'll take in the seafront. So we're coming over the Tweed. It's just about the finishing line for the captain and I. Appreciate you joining us if you've stuck with it. Have a quick shufty of the Tweed and the fortified walls of Berwick. So there we are, Captain and I made it. 70 miles in total, including our diversion to Lindisfarne. The actual official route ends just the other side of the bridge, still in England and Northumberland. We're in Scotland now, having crossed Berwick's old bridge, which is up for renovation. So the captain's got his sea chart, so we're going to go down here to the youth hostel now. That's it, thanks for joining us. Today's episode, Holy Island to Berwick. Another fantastic day. Now time for a cold one, put our feet up.